The air in the Ikoyi mansion was thick with the scent of lilies and unspoken tension. Adaugo, which meant the princess's daughter, lived up to every syllable of her name. She was a flawless, exquisitely polished jewel, yet one whose edges were sharp and unforgiving. Born into the opulent embrace of the Okonkwo dynasty, Adaugo knew no word for need and understood work only as something other people did. Her life was a cascade of imported silk, Parisian perfumes, and the endless silent servitude of others. She was, in a word, a beautiful, devastatingly spoiled brat. Her marriage to Kelechi Nadi was the talk of Lagos high society. Kelechi, a successful engineer, was wealthy, a rare gem in the world of Lagos billionaires. But his true fortune lay in his profound humility and his unwavering faith. His soul was anchored in a quiet, Christ-like grace that saw past Adaugo's glittering facade to the potential woman within. Adaugo, however, saw him as another accessory, a stable, handsome husband to complete her lavish portrait. He had seen past Adaugo's sparkling, arrogant facade to the vulnerable, yearning soul beneath. He loved her fiercely, a love that was both a sanctuary and a challenge. Their home, a sprawling villa, should have been a sanctuary, but under Adaugo's rule, it became a revolving door of domestic help. Lazy, incompetent, thieves were the words she flung at the terrified maids. Adaugo's tongue was a sharp, unforgiving weapon, wielded carelessly against those she saw as beneath her, who, unable to endure her harsh, demanding nature, never stayed more than a few weeks. The kitchen, with its granite counters and imported appliances, was nothing more than a showroom. Adaugo wouldn't lift a finger, not even to brew her own morning tea. Her lavish spending was a dizzying blur. Designer bags, failed business ventures funded by whim, money that vanished like mist over the lagoon. Kelechi watched, his heart a heavy stone. His mother, a woman who prayed more than she spoke, had warned him. "My son," she'd said, "a wife is not an ornament. She is the keeper of the home. Love is patient, but responsibility is non-negotiable." The tipping point arrived on a Tuesday, quiet and devastating. Kelechi found their newest house help weeping silently by the gate, a small worn bag in her hand. Later that evening, after a fruitless attempt to discuss their spiraling finances, Adaugo sneered. "Why are you so concerned about that maid? You want to play poverty hero? My father can buy 10 of your company." Kelechi looked at her, and the love in his eyes didn't dim, but something else died, the tolerance. The next morning, his voice was measured, utterly devoid of anger, which made his words all the more chilling. It was a sermon of quiet devastation. "Adaugo," he began, "our marriage is not just a union of two people, it is a covenant before God. I brought you here to share my life, but you are destroying the sanctity of the home I built. You have wasted our resources, but worse, you have wounded the spirits of every soul that has come to serve us. I love you, but I will not enable the part of you that is unkind." A cold dread, a feeling Adaugo had never known, seized her. "What are you saying, Kelechi? Don't be dramatic. I am saying this house is too big for you, Adaugo. You have to leave. Not forever, but until you learn to live a life of service and humility. Until you understand that the wealth we have is a blessing, not a license for arrogance." He handed her a small envelope. No checks, no credit cards, only a plane ticket back to her parents' home in Abuja. "Go. Find the woman I know you can be. When you are ready to be my partner in spirit and in truth, not just my wife in name, I will be waiting." The parting was a scene of silent, shocking grief. Adaugo, stripped of her diamonds and her pride, was thrust back into her mother's bewildered arms. She had lost her husband. The gold cage of her life had suddenly vanished. The separation was an exquisite torture. Every night, Adaugo wept, clutching the simple, leather-bound Bible Kelechi had given her years ago. She finally understood. She didn't miss the money. She missed his quiet presence, the safety of his faith, the depth of his unwavering love. He had cast her out to save her. Her mother, initially sympathetic, soon became her drill sergeant. "You want your husband back? Then we start at the market. You will learn to haggle, to cook, to clean. You will not lose a good, God-fearing man because your hands are soft." Adaugo attacked the chores with the same fierce will she once used to shop. Every scrubbing of a floor, every perfectly seasoned pot of jollof rice, was a silent prayer of repentance. The physical labor was nothing compared to the labor of her heart. She knelt not just to clean but to pray, asking for the Christ-like humility Kelechi embodied. Months bled into a year. The arrogant girl was replaced by a thoughtful, capable woman. Her pride was gone, replaced by a genuine humility and grace that shone brighter than any diamond. Adaugo fly back to Lagos, she found Kelechi at the living room, her heart hammering a fierce rhythm against her ribs. She didn't rush to him. Instead, she quietly spent the day in the kitchen preparing a meal, his favorite egusi soup and pounded yam. The aroma of her cooking was the first thing that gingered his curiosity. He looked at her and time dissolved. She was older, her hands were tougher, and her eyes held a profound depth he hadn't seen before. A peace that surpassed understanding. She didn't plead or cry. She simply walked to him, not as a spoilt princess, but as a humbled equal. "Kelechi," she said, her voice clear and steady, "I have learned that love is not what we take but what we give. I have prayed to be worthy of your name and your heart. I am home to serve, not to be served." The suspense broke in a wave of profound relief and joy. He didn't say a word, just closed the distance between them, holding her as if she were a precious, reclaimed treasure. Their reunion was not a party. It was a profound spiritual healing. God had used the fire of separation to purify their love. In the years that followed, their home filled with the laughter of a son and a daughter, a complete, beautiful testimony to their renewed covenant. One day, Kelechi introduced a new house help, a young woman named Blessing. Adaugo welcomed her with a warmth that was genuine, treating her not as a subordinate, but as a sister, a spirit to be uplifted. Kelechi watched his wife from across the room, his heart full. He had always loved the beautiful girl, but he adored the God-fearing woman she had fought so hard to become. The house was now filled not just with luxury, but with a deep, abiding peace, a love that had been tested in the furnace and emerged, finally, as pure, radiant gold.